Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. If you've ever felt like your voice didn't matter, like your story wasn't worth sharing, you're not alone. At the Empowerography Live in-person conference this year, we brought together voices from around the world, women who chose to stand up, speak out, and share stories that changed lives. And here's the truth. Your voice matters too. If you've ever felt that pull to share your story as a guest on a podcast, to start your own podcast, or step into your power, this isn't random. It is your invitation. Head over to empowerographypodcast.com and see how you can turn your voice into impact, because your story isn't just yours. It's someone else's survival guide. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography podcast, a platform that was created to help elevate and amplify the voices of women through sharing their stories. Today, my guest is Nancy Griffin. She is a connector, an influencer, and the CEO and founder of Women, Worth, and Wellness. Welcome, Nancy. How are you doing today?
Thanks so much, Brad. I'm doing so well. It's a sparkly day. That's why I've got my sparkly top on.
I love that. It certainly is sparkly out there. It's a winter wonderland today. So I am so,
It's amazing.
it is. I am so grateful and thankful to have you here with me today. I'm looking forward to jumping in and sharing a bit about your story, your journey, and of course, the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. So with that being said, let's get this party started. So, Nancy, with the work that you do, I'd love to know, what was the exact moment when you realized women's wellness wasn't just a passion for you, but a calling you could not walk away from?
When I started the whole Women, Worth, and Wellness initiative,
Mm-hmm.
I was a wealth advisor, started in the wealth advisory business in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the training they give you once you've got all your licenses and you're getting launched is they say, okay, everything is all systems go. There's only one thing missing, and that is clients. You don't have any clients until you go find some. But part of the training was, okay, you're going to be in this business for another 20 or 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
and those relationships are going to be deep. And the best thing that you can do is choose people to work with whom you feel you can add value to their lives. That really is your AAA1 priority. There's nothing worse than trying to work with somebody that you don't really like
Yeah.
and trying to add. So really, that was really good advice. And so through that process, I thought I've been through quite a bit as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to focus on women, not exclusively, but primarily. And you, Brad, probably remember a company called Trimark.
Yes, I do.
Fabulous company, really fabulous. 3 fabulous founders, and they were on it. They knew during the 90s women were starting to earn a whole lot more. They wanted to pay attention to how do they maximize their wealth scenario. So they had a whole marketing program called Investing in Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I had all these marketing materials. All I had to do was curate an event, which I did at a fabulous golf course that first Saturday in November, which is a sweet spot for doing those sorts of things because women have got their kids in school. They've got Halloween behind them. It isn't Christmas yet.
Yeah.
So I did this event a Saturday morning at a golf club, and women normally come in packs.
Mm-hmm.
One will get the invite, and then, of course, our others welcome, of course. So I had over 150 women who came, which was just over the top. So now I've got a whole group of prospects
Mm-hmm.
to start working with. So you start booking the appointments, you start meeting with people one at a time. But the one thing that became very evident very quickly, a lot of women are bogged down with the expectation that they're the nurse practitioner in their family.
Right.
They're in charge of everybody's health and wellness, themselves, their kids, their parents, their in-laws, their staff. And I thought, how many women know all these aspects of health?
Mm-hmm.
I know some, but I certainly wouldn't consider myself to be an expert. So that's when I decided to partner with not-for-profit health-related organizations focusing on women's health, starting with Women's College Hospital. And Women's College,
Yes.
over 100 years old, focusing on women's health and
Mhm.
wellness exclusively. So I started with them, and of course, they're constantly offering different seminars and events.
Mhm.
So I simply brought it to my clients' attention, invited them so that they can increase their awareness. And now they've also got a resource to go to rather than Google or trying to get a quick answer from your doctor. I started the first golf tournament
Mhm.
for women's college in the 90s was also a time when women said, "I think I better learn how to play golf." And s and so I had 32 for the first tournament, and then 3 years later, I had 144 golfers.
Wow.
And in those days, that's when all these investment companies could give you golf bags, golf balls, golf wear, golf trips.
Mhm.
It was we had so much merch that we had to have 3 separate flights of first, second, and third. I had Sandra Post doing a clinic in the
Mhm.
morning, so of course she was a big draw. It was over the top, and I said to my assistant at the time, "We've gotta get rid of all this loot." Like and of course, these days, good luck even getting a golf ball.
Yeah.
Really, you just compliance changed
Yeah.
all of that, but anyway, so as I started to work with women, you just get this whole aspect that your first priority is your health
Mhm.
before you even get to your wealth. And of course, once you get your good health in order, both physical and mental, then you start to feel on top of your game. You really do. And that's where the whole wellness aspect came about. Wellness is nothing more than a very positive word about the ideal scenario
Mhm.
that you want to be experiencing.
I love it. From 30 to 140 in 3 years. That's insane. That is incredible
144.
growth.
That's
Wow.
a full compliment. I just hit the sweet spot.
Yeah,
I
no
really
kidding.
did because it was women's college, so that
Yeah.
was a great brand.
Mhm.
Sandra Post to do a clinic and all these women and again, as I said, women come in packs.
Yeah.
If one gets the word, then they'll say, "Is there room for 4 more?"
Yeah,
Whatever.
for sure. I love it. So, before you built Women, Worth, and Wellness, what was the identity you had to bury to become the woman who leads it today?
My first career was at Procter& and Gamble.
Mhm.
So I started off with a bang because I was promoted into management, which is a big deal. And also, I was one of the first female managers, and that was all fabulous. The only problem is you reach a level and
Mhm.
then it plateaus and people just forget about you.
Yeah.
And so when I reflect back, I really you're always respectful in a hierarchy, but when I reflect back, I'm sorry that I wasn't more courageous in that hierarchy. I let a lot of things go by that I should have stepped up to and addressed. For example, the VP that I had would
Mhm.
not allow me to go on business travel because I had a small child.
Wow.
Also, I had different people asking for me on an international assignment. I never knew about it until after I was gone because he said, I kept asking for you and they kept turning me down. So I never heard about these opportunities. So my point is, I started off with much
Mhm.
positivity, turning 39. For
Mhm.
me, 39 meant you're going to be 104 in 1 year. And so, really, do you want to? And I kept thinking, I've started probably mid 30s
Mhm.
in terms of your options, and you got other stuff going on in your life. And I thought, when I retire, I would have a really good pension. And I would be 65, 70, 75. I'll be on a Florida beach somewhere and they'd say, "Nancy, so tell me about you and your life." And I would say, "I work for Procter& and Gamble." And that would be it. So I thought, "You know what? I'm out of here." And so you're figuring out what am I gonna do next and
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. And so a situation came up in our neighborhood,
Mhm.
lived in North Toronto, very safe neighborhood. We had a Mexican student living with us at the time,
Mhm.
learning how to speak English, told her it was very safe, had just been recruited onto our community services board,
Mhm.
and I was in charge of community outreach, which no big deal. But that January, we had a huge tragedy that happened. And it was like, okay, Nancy, you're in charge of community. You're the spokesperson.
Yeah.
What? It was a halfway house at Yonge and Eglinton
Mhm.
where one of the residents escaped, went
Mhm.
to Yonge and Davisville, murdered this woman,
Oh my
and
gosh.
she was the buyer of Florence Lewis clothing shop where I bought all my little corporate outfits and ties.
Right.
So all of a sudden, all of these key points aligned.
Yeah.
The one thing I learned at Procter& and Gamble is when something like that happened, it's no one person's fault.
Mhm.
It's the total quality system that wasn't in place, in terms of all those different levels of government, understanding who was there and what their responsibilities were.
Right.
And so I took a lead in the community. And so I was happy to take a lead. I was ready for leadership, but now you're very public with your leadership.
Hmm.
And so as you went along, you started to realize there were a whole lot of cracks in the system behind the scene when you're thinking that you're in a really safe community.
Yeah.
So that was a year, 1988, when there was a federal election.
Mhm.
And I decided I was going to run for the federal Liberal nomination. Not that I was gonna win,
Yeah.
but when I saw the things that were going wrong behind the scenes, I thought, "I gotta get this point out into the community."
Hmm.
And, of course, the people who would come to that event are people who are careful thinkers, who
Yeah.
care about the best in communities. And so off I went. I got the minimum number of signatures, and the whole thing cost me about $1,500. It was better than any trip I ever could have taken. It was so much fun. And our daughter was playing hockey, Leaside girls hockey at the time.
Hmm.
And of course, we cheered their team on. So the hockey team came, the girls
Yeah.
came and they cheered me in and then did a big when it's your turn. It was so much fun. And one of the other ones was Paul Hellyer.
Hmm.
Everybody knew Paul Hellyer.
Hmm.
And of course, the serious person who won was Aideen Nicholson.
Hmm.
But I left Procter& and Gamble to run. They thought I'd really lost my mind, and maybe I had. But it was my entree into community leadership, and a whole other world unfolded because in a hierarchy, you know what the decision-making process is,
Yeah.
whereas in the community, everybody's the CEO.
Hmm.
Everybody has a voice. Everybody's ideas and thoughts matter.
Yeah.
So it was a whole new world that happened. And what I realized, I grew up in a very small community, and the big deal in a small farming community is the fall fair.
Right.
So I decided what North Toronto needed was a fall fair. So I went to work on that, and we had a beer garden, and it was a huge success. And as a result of that, I was given the Canada 125 award
Hmm.
by Barbara McDougall at the time.
Hmm.
But then after community leadership for, I think it was about 3 years, I thought, "Oh my goodness, I gotta get out of this community because they know where you live, they know who you are," and it was a never-ending bunch of challenges.
Yeah.
So I was offered a contract
Hmm.
with an outplacement firm, not the one that I'd worked with a lot at Procter& and Gamble. But so this was another aspect that was happening at the time. Outplacement was a big deal
Okay.
during the '80s.
Hmm.
Now it's second nature, it's no big deal at all.
Yeah.
But this one company, what they did was all the ones who had recently been outplaced came together at the King Edward Hotel
Hmm.
every Sunday morning
Hmm.
that now had a new reality,
Hmm.
and there are some new candidates. So I went to this because this was the firm I was gonna be working with. Met this woman who'd been a VP at a big, huge, US-based company
Hmm.
and had a bag load of money, went to get some advice on how to invest it, was really disappointed. And so she started in the business. And she's the one who said to me, "Nancy, I don't think the next 20 years of your life you want to spend on outplacement. I don't think that's a good idea." And so she's the one that recruited me into wealth management. And I point that out because I did a 180-degree turn in terms of where I was headed. So my piece of advice is that you pay attention to what other people think you should do. I never would have been in the business. And once I got in there, I should have been there 20 years earlier.
Wow.
It was amazing. It was just because both of my parents had been investors
Hmm.
and my brother had been a stockbroker. Never even considered it, but it's an absolutely perfect place for women to be. And for any woman who's listening, who's interested, go for it. Go for it because there's a huge shortage of women wealth advisors.
Love it. Thank you for that advice, Nancy. So, let's jump right into women worth and wellness. When did you found it? What was the inspiration or the catalyst moment behind building it? And tell us what it's all about.
Very simply, as I was building my book and meeting with these women, you realize that your health is everything. And I could hear my mother died 2 years before I got into the business,
Hmm.
but I could hear her saying, "Dear, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything." And I thought this is so true
Hmm.
because we take our health for granted. We keep going until something stops us. So let's just back this up. Let's just focus on good health to begin with.
Yep.
And if you've got good health, no, that's a triple A1 priority because the next question is, how do I maintain this good health?
Mhm.
And once you focus on yourself and own your own health, you're off to a great start, really.
Yeah.
So I'm a wealth advisor. So now we need to talk about the whole financial aspect. And part of the financial aspect is the charitable giving component.
Mhm.
And of course, any of these events that I did with any of these not for profit health related organizations for women, there would always be a nominal amount charged, like 25 or 50 or whatever. And I would, point that out to my clients. That is a way to enhance your net worth
Right.
because it's a charitable deduction. But at the same time, if you're in a position to give, then that enhances your self worth because often the recipient of that gift is you
Yes.
because you feel great about having given.
Mhm.
Okay, so here we are 31 years later, and that charitable giving net worth idea and self worth has turned into philanthropy and legacy planning, realizing that women have a whole lot more wealth that they're stewarding,
Mhm.
that they're earning, but also a lot of wealth now that they are inheriting with a whole lot more to come. So, that very simple idea of a charitable gift to enhance your net worth and your self worth now is more powerful than ever. And now we see incredible role models like Melinda French Gates and Mackenzie Scott. Really amazing what they're doing.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Nancy. So, what part of your personal suffering became the blueprint for women worth and wellness?
Procter and Gamble was a big disappointment, which
Mm.
is most unfortunate. But that's one of the reasons. The political situation was really interesting because there was not a lot of discrimination. The ideal was if you're a great candidate and you present yourself and you're going to go to work and you're going to make things better. I don't care if you're a man or a
Yeah.
woman. Obviously, we all know the political world, and certainly there's still some opportunities there. But I guess the Procter and Gamble experience was what really drove me
Mhm.
to focus on the whole aspect of focusing on women
Yeah.
and their wealth. And of course, the thread over time has been how women's wealth really enhances their power.
Mhm.
And all women have wanted power. I didn't have the power that I felt I deserved or could handle at Procter and Gamble. So
Yeah.
again, that's the driving attitude that has me focusing on these women. And then as a wealth advisor, you're a coach. You're really working one-on-one in a very confidential and personal way with your
Mhm.
clients.
Yeah.
Then you can coach them to go for it. And let's talk about ways that you can do that.
I love it. So, what was the first promise then that you made to yourself once you decided you weren't going back to who you were before?
Promise I made to myself. I just to keep on going, keep on being strong. I think one of the blessings was now I was an entrepreneur. Now you're driving the bus. So what are you going to do? And once you're driving the bus and you've got that power yourself, what are you going to do? And so it's only been amplified over time.
Yeah.
And this podcasting experience over the last 3 or 4 months has been incredible
I love
because
hearing that.
I've talked to these women all over the world. And you know what's really interesting? And for me now it's a no-brainer,
Yeah.
but really interesting.
It is. The podcasting world is absolutely incredible. To your point, you can connect with people anywhere and everywhere around the world. It is so powerful. It's such an incredible medium. I
It
absolutely
is.
love it. And to your point about if we don't have our health, we have nothing. My grandfather used to say that all the time. I always remember him saying, if you don't have your health, all the money in the world doesn't mean a damn thing.
Exactly. Exactly. And the other point, just building on that, is the majority of us take it for
For
granted.
sure.
Our whole body is one complex system,
Yeah.
but it's so what? It's our brain that says, okay, get up and get going, and you've got 94 things to do today, so get at it.
Yeah, absolutely. The body is the human body is a magnificent
It
marvel
is.
of machinery. It's incredible. It's a beautiful
Right.
creation.
It is,
It
truly.
is. It really is. So we have to value it and take care of it.
Right.
It's the one thing we have.
Number one asset.
Yep.
Number one asset.
For sure.
And you're right. We need to own it.
Yeah.
Own it.
Absolutely. Think about a car. I've heard this used before. Think about a car. You wouldn't drive a car around and just let the oil go and not take care of it, not maintain it. Otherwise, you're not
Right.
going anywhere very quickly.
Exactly.
So the body's the
Exactly.
same thing. Take care of it. You have to fuel it properly. You have to maintain it.
But the other thing too on that point is women tend to focus on everybody
Yes,
else.
they do.
They don't make themselves the
For
priority.
sure.
And women never ever want to be seen as being selfish. That's the worst thing that you can say about a woman. She is so selfish. Who
Yeah.
does she think she is? And so you have to roll that back and say, I am going to be selfish.
Hmm.
I do need to look after myself.
Yeah.
I do need to seek out the best advice possible because guess what? When you are the best that you can be, the healthiest you can be, you can give that much more to everybody else.
Absolutely. It has to be deconditioned. That has been conditioned and ingrained into women that you look after everybody, your husband, your kids, your family, your network, your community. You look after everyone first. And then whatever's left over, that's what you get. And no, it's the exact opposite of that. You have to give to yourself first. And it is absolutely not selfish to do that. It is
No.
selfless to do that because, as to your point, and as you said, when you do that, you're able to give that much more to those you choose to give your energy to.
And women know that they're smart.
Hmm.
They know that they have tremendous capacity and capability.
Hmm.
So being smart means that you are selfish. You do look after
Yeah,
yourself.
for sure. I agree with you 1000%, Nancy. So if you could speak to the version of you who was breaking silently, what would you tell her now with all that you've learned and who you are today?
I would just be more assertive. I would just be you have to be respectfully assertive.
Hmm.
Somebody recently said to me, "You're really aggressive." And I said, "Thank you."
I own that. I'll take that. Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly. They were really taken aback because certainly they didn't mean it as a compliment. But really, that's what women need to be.
Hmm.
One of the books that I bought recently is How We Learn to Be Brave,
Hmm.
and it was written by Reverend Marianne Budd,
Okay.
and she's the Episcopal minister in Washington
Hmm.
who led the service the day after Trump's inauguration.
Okay.
And she's the one who stood up to him and asked him to have mercy
Hmm.
on all the immigrants that he was sending back out of the country.
Hmm.
And it is an amazing book because learning to be brave can be you choose it,
Yeah.
or all of a sudden something has lobbed in front of you.
Hmm.
And it's a question, should I say something or not? Should I do something or not? And recently she's come out with a follow-up book for young people, how
Okay.
young people learn how to be brave. And it's that bravery that makes a difference in the world.
For sure.
So also sorry that I didn't seek out a mentor,
Hmm.
somebody to help me. I
Yeah.
think that might have helped. But in your 30s, it's a really busy time
Yeah.
because that's when you're working at so many different things that it's not easy to find that ideal sweet spot that's going to help you advance.
Yeah. Mentorship is so important. So important. We all can use that in our lives, in our businesses,
Yep.
everything, because there's always someone that's going to be a couple of steps ahead, and there's always someone that's
Right.
going to be a couple steps behind. And so it's that reaching your hand up the ladder and reaching your hand down the ladder to reach up and get pulled up, but also pull those up behind you as well.
I think probably where I've taken a lot of inspiration is from role models.
Hmm.
So they're not necessarily mentors,
Right.
but certainly their behavior has been an inspiration to the point where you start to model some of what they're doing.
Hmm.
And then they get to know you, and then they're a bit of a coach. You should think about this or think, but it isn't a serious, regular mentoring interaction, but
Yeah.
still really powerful.
There's still some important guidance there for sure.
Right.
Yeah. So, what have you learned about power that only a woman who's been brought to her knees can understand?
That it's fraught with danger because not everybody wants you to have that power.
Hmm.
And so when you've got the power that you do, you've got to be operating on a 360 basis at all time because there are aspects lurking that don't necessarily want you to be there. It's a challenge. There's a phenomenon called tall poppy syndrome. I'm
Okay.
not sure if you're
No, I've never
familiar
heard.
with it.
Nope.
Oh my goodness, you dial it up and see what it is
Okay.
because it was created in Australia.
Okay.
And it's very simply, if you arrive and you've been recruited because you're capable
Hmm.
and you've got a lot of strengths that whoever has recruited you wants to come to play, some of the people who are currently there are not going to be happy because they may have wanted that role themselves.
Right.
So what they do is they go to work on trying to find a way to get rid of you. and more
Mm.
it's something that's happening a lot in corporations.
Hmm.
And what happens, you're the new person. And so you say, "You know what? This I don't think this is working."
Yeah.
And more often than not, the person leaves
Hmm.
when they've been recruited to add so much more. And it
Wow.
was something that did happen to me, and it was true to form. Dial it up. You'll see exactly what it's all about. And it one of the podcasts I was on, we
Hmm.
talked about this. And the person who was interviewing me said, "This is so important because one, he's doing a lot in the medical field."
Right.
And he said, "I know a situation and I know she's going to be on. She's in a nursing situation
Hmm.
and she's just been recruited to take on a big role. And I know there's some people who aren't too happy. So you're going to be talking to her. Tell her how to behave. How you're going to behave is you're not going to give up. You're not going to back down. You're not going to disappear. You're going to find a way to get along. And sooner or later, people will realize they're not going to bring you down. You're going to be there. So let's find a way to all get along."
Yeah. That's what they expect is you to turn around and leave and give up
Right.
because
Exactly.
that's part of the
Right.
plan.
Exactly.
Wow. So
It's a it's amazing. When you read about it,
I
you'll
will
it's
definitely look into that for
yep,
sure. Thank you for sharing that.
you're welcome.
What did you discover about yourself in the moments when nobody was watching, those moments of silence you that rebuilt you?
Recently, I've said when I was at Procter& and Gamble and promoted into management, I don't have a university education. And so I'd come to a fork in the road where I could go to university and leave Procter& and Gamble.
Mhm.
But then they're promoting me into management, and I thought they recruit from universities.
Right.
So I'm already here, so why would I leave? And
Makes
the
sense.
other and then I ended up in management training, training new MBAs.
Mhm.
So it's really interesting. But recently I thought, you know what? I've developed a lot of courage. And I think it's because I didn't have that university education.
Mhm.
I think it's because you realize that you do have a lot to offer, that you do know the difference between right and wrong.
Mhm.
You do know how to do a lot of things that a lot of well-educated people don't know how to do. So what you say to yourself is keep on going, but be careful.
Yeah.
You can't be you can't be what's the word I'm searching for? You can't be not snobbish,
Mhm.
but you can't think that you're better than
No.
people.
No.
Just know that you've got a lot to offer. So keep on going and keep on offering it in a very respectful way.
Mhm. The best education is life. The life's
Exactly.
journey.
And
There's nothing better than that.
no, and the parents, I'm now reflecting on how I did grow up and what did I learn.
Mhm.
And my mother was a huge influence. Just again, watching how she behaved, not
Right.
necessarily what she said, other than if you don't have your health, dear, you don't have your
Yeah, which is a very
but
important thing.
yeah. But one of this girl had a podcast in Taiwan,
Mhm.
and her theme is soft power.
Okay.
Power. She had a lot of boundaries,
Mhm.
but she worked her way through it with her soft power. It's a really powerful concept.
That is for sure.
Yep. And this girl, her name is Sherry,
Mhm.
she couldn't get enough of my mom's stories. Tell me more about what she did about this, which was really interesting.
She was a great role model for you, watching how she
Mhm.
behaved.
Definitely. Definitely.
Incredible. See, that's life experience. You cannot learn that in university or college.
Right.
That's life experience, and that's the best way of learning for sure.
Yep.
I love it.
I agree. I agree. But who knew? Who knew? I told you that's how you're gonna yeah, who knew?
Yeah, very true. So you working in a space, you work in a space where women often forget their worth. What do you wish every woman knew about herself before the world tried to convince her otherwise?
That you are worthy. And we all see what in the world is going on now.
Mhm.
So if you are alive and you're healthy and you know that you are worthy, you are blessed. And I've often said, and it may be something that I turn into a reality. If I ever could, I would. We know how successful the Eras Tour was.
Mhm.
I would do a worthy tour. And I would start with young women, maybe young people, period.
Mhm.
Just know that you are worthy, really,
Yeah.
because you are a standalone unit. And we spend a lot of time dealing with the outside forces
Mhm.
rather than bringing the inside forces forward.
Yeah, everything. We are the foundation for everything. It all starts
Correct.
here with us, within us, and we have absolutely everything we need inside of us. It's just about believing in ourselves, doing the work to know that we're worthy. We are all incredibly unique. We are all a gift to this world because we are all so unique. We're perfectly imperfect. Embrace yourself, the mess, the beauty, all of it. It's everything.
The world needs you to get out there. You're reminding me of I was a participant in the Strategic Coach.
Mhm,
You probably know of it.
mhm.
It's for entrepreneurs you meet quarterly. I was just on a webinar yesterday with Dan Sullivan. What he's created is out of this world. But he goes back to some really simple concepts. And one of the most simplest is, what is your unique ability?
Mhm.
And people go, my unique ability, what the heck does that mean? What are you doing that you love to do?
Yeah.
And what are you doing that other people like what you're doing?
Mhm.
And that really is where the women worth it, because he said, as soon as you know what your unique ability is, put a trademark on it.
Mm.
So that's where the Women Worth and Wellness trademark brand came from in
Ah,
1994.
love it.
Started in the business in 92,
Mhm,
but took this training.
mhm,
What's your unique ability? And of course, he goes through a big exercise to help you come up with what is your unique ability
mhm.
and then put a trademark on it.
Love it. That's
So really interesting.
for sure. Absolutely. What do you think is the biggest lie that women have been sold about their worth? And what truth are you trying to replace it with?
That you're too aggressive. Seriously, if women step out and speak up,
Mhm.
she's too aggressive. And that's exactly what I got clipped with. And I said, thank you for the compliment. Really?
Well, you hear
And
that
the
in,
other
in corporate all the time, right? If a woman's aggressive or she's a bitch or she's this or she's that, right?
exactly.
And
Right.
but a man can be that way and it's okay. It's celebrated.
Precisely. And they say people are really scared of you because you're so aggressive. Why, you've got to be. You've got to be kidding. Really. But that's what happens with women. And sometimes women are the worst towards other women.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
And so, really, I think one of the things that I've emphasized a lot
Mhm,
on these podcasts is that you really become an active listener.
mhm.
But active listening in terms of trying to understand where that person is coming from. Like, why would that person say you're so aggressive?
Yeah,
After you say thank you for the compliment, then you have to think, okay, now what have I done that has caused this person to make that kind of
a
a bold
statement.
statement?
Yeah. I love it though. I love that you just rocked up and said, "Thank you. Thank you very much. I own that." But you're right. We have to in conversation and everything, we have to be curious. And I think this is such an important piece that goes right along with the listening is the curiosity piece. How did you not even your example aside from things, if someone has a differing opinion, look around the world today. People are so angry and hateful because they don't agree with other people's opinions. You don't have Everyone's not going to agree with your opinion, and that's okay. We can still coexist. We can live side by side, but get curious about how that person arrived at that opinion or why do you believe that? I'd really love to know where that comes from. Be curious.
Right,
Don't hate someone for their opinion because it differs from yours or political ideology or whatever it is. So what? You can still exist. You don't have to hate a person because you don't agree with what aisle, what side of the aisle they sit on with politics or whatever their beliefs are. So what? You're going to have differing opinions. This is life, but
right,
ask the questions, be curious because
right,
that helps to foster conversation.
correct. But don't get into a big argument.
No,
No,
it's
I
not
think your
worth it. You're not
point
going to
is
change someone's mind.
no. So understand the why.
Yes.
And then you say, that's
Yeah.
interesting. I see why you're saying what you're
Yeah.
saying and why you believe what you believe. And then let it go.
Yeah. It
Because,
it could actually give you some
yeah,
insights to that person, but also it could cause you to look at things in a different light.
correct. You might just learn something.
Exactly. And that's what it should
Yeah.
be with every single conversation that we have with people. You should
Right.
go into it with an open mind, an open heart, and open ears. We're given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Use these more
Right.
than you use this, and
Yes.
be curious, because you could walk and you should go in with the opinion that I'm gonna walk into this conversation, I'm gonna learn something today. I'm going to take away something, even if it's one thing.
No, excellent point. Really excellent point. Excellent. And you're right. Ask the question rather than immediately trying to make a statement and get yourself out there. Just back out a bit and ask a
Yeah.
question and find out where that person is coming from. And you're right. You might just learn something.
It's funny because in some conversations I've engaged in, it's almost like you can, as I'm speaking, I can see the wheels turning in their eyes. They're just waiting to respond, just to respond,
Um,
right?
right.
It's just
Yeah.
listen to what I'm saying and then
Correct.
respond. And sometimes conversations don't even require a response to some pieces of it.
No.
Just listen.
Right.
People don't
Yes.
listen. And
Definitely.
the funny thing is that a lot of people think they're amazing listeners.
That's
Yes,
not so.
very true, very true. In your view, Nancy, what's the connection between a woman's wellness and her willingness to choose herself?
I think willingness to choose herself is wellness. And one of the things I talk about is that you live your life as a split screen because all the negatives pop up first.
Mm,
And you got to train yourself to get that to fade to black. Like, really, unless it's an emergency, train yourself to focus on the positives. And once you start focusing on the positives, then a lot of wellness starts to come into play.
mhm.
And then you build on that wellness so you get to a higher level. And you'll deal with the stuff that's wrong. You'll deal with the stuff that's getting in the way. But sometimes we spend way, way too much time on everything that's going wrong.
Mhm.
I don't like the work-life balance
I
phrase.
think
I
that's
really
bullshit.
No, I agree. It just puts additional stress. It's like, I'm not perfect.
Mhm.
Guess what? Nobody's perfect. So just focus on priorities. And you're a smart person. You'll deal with what is most important right now. And if you head into that priority and it doesn't pan out, then redirect.
Mhm.
Keep going. You're a smart person. And then look in the mirror in the car
Mhm.
and say, good for you. You just did a great job. I know that wasn't what you expected, but you responded and you redirected and carry on.
I love that. We live life as a split screen. I love that
Yeah, yeah,
analogy. I
exactly.
love it.
And we know how to fade to black. Like,
Yes, this is so important. The mindset is everything. Absolutely
exactly.
everything. There's
Exactly.
always a lesson. Whatever, like to your point, if something didn't go the way you wanted it to or expected it to, it's okay. There's something in there for you to extract. There's a gem, there's a diamond, there's gold there for you to pull out and use in order to move forward and do better next time. Always,
And
every single situation, no matter what you're going through, there is always something to take away and learn.
yep. And what I do is you say, okay, so what?
Mhm.
And then now what? Now what? Now what? Now what? What are you going to do now? And women are smart.
Mhm.
But when you ask yourself that question, it's like, actually, I was on a webinar with Forbes in
Mhm.
New York,
Mhm.
a women's summit. And Demi Moore was one of the afternoon guests.
Mhm.
And the interviewer was asking her all sorts of questions. Anyway, Demi's response was, my belief is that life happens for you.
Yes.
It doesn't happen to you.
Mhm.
It happens for you. So there you go.
That's it.
It's like it didn't work the way you thought, but now you've been given this. So what are you going to do?
What are you gonna do
What are you
with
going to
it?
do?
Yep, absolutely.
Great.
Beautiful. What is one belief about women's health that you are determined to shatter because it's hurting women more than it's helping?
As you probably know, a lot of the research that has been done up until fairly recently,
Mhm.
women were considered to be little men.
Mhm.
And so, therefore, whatever was prescribed for a man will definitely apply to a woman, except the comment about little men doesn't always apply. I was talking to this one woman on a podcast, and she said, are you telling me that it's the same potion for a woman as it is for a man for a colonoscopy when the man is 200 pounds and I'm 100 pounds? It's those kinds of things.
Mhm.
But I think just women are quite different in so many ways,
Mhm.
and I think those differences really have not been understood and acknowledged. Sinai Women's Health came out with a fabulous campaign in the spring called Hot and Bothered, and they hit it hard, front and center. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to pick up on that. I'm well past menopause, but I remember being in my 40s.
You and I discussed this, I believe, the first time we connected. We were talking about this, I
Okay.
believe. I'm pretty sure we did. Not that
Okay.
campaign,
So I
but
thought,
about
okay,
menopause and perimenopause and
yada, yada,
yeah.
yada. And I said, I remember my 40s and there was stuff happening to me. And no woman ever wants to be embarrassed.
You know.
We spend a lot of time coiffing ourselves. So the last thing that you want is anything getting in the way of your extreme coiffure. And so that's what I said was the saying is go big or go home. And I said, you know what? Go big and keep going. And don't apologize for whatever's happening to you because every woman, if they live long enough, is going to go through this all through the world. I ended up doing a financial or presentation to a group of financial wealth advisors. And this one man, he looked like he was about 55 or 60. He said, I had absolutely no idea. I thought it was just night sweats. I didn't know about all these other things. And then I said, people are talking about this more all the time. He said, no, I know. He said he lived in a retirement community and he had no, I said, you know what? If you want to have some fun at one of your cocktail parties, start the conversation. So what do you know about menopause? See what happens. They'll think you came to the party drunk or something. But seriously, ask people and you'll be amazed at what you'll learn.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I did an interview with a woman about 2.5 months ago, and she is a menopause coach. She helps women through
Oh,
menopause. And some of the stuff she
okay.
was telling me about some of the women that she's worked with and friends that their husbands don't have not even a clue about any of this stuff.
Correct.
And they're getting angry with their wives because they're going through these things. And I'm thinking, what the hell is wrong with you? I can't wrap my head around it because I understand what's going on. And no, I don't know everything about menopause. I don't profess to know everything about menopause or perimenopause, but I at least have some empathy for my wife and what she's going through and
Correct.
understand different pieces of it. And it's just, she was saying that some of the husbands ended up leaving their wives because of it.
Ex-
It's,
Exactly. It's true.
that
It
is
is true.
crazy to me.
It is crazy. But the other part that's crazy is half the time women don't know either
True.
to help their husbands understand.
Very true.
It just has been this is your body and these things are happening to you. And then somebody gets angry. And there's just a huge gap here in terms of understanding what is the truth, what is really going on here.
As you said, it's not really talked about. I think
No,
it's
no,
starting to be talked about now a little
more
bit,
and more.
more for sure. And it needs to be talked about even more than it already is, so that there is an understanding on both sides for women and for men. This
Correct.
woman was telling me about a young woman who was in her mid-20s that was going through perimenopause.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So crazy.
She must have talked about the hormone replacement therapy and how that all went wrong.
No,
You know, you
we
could
didn't talk about hormone replacement therapy.
okay, because there are meds that could be described that alleviate a lot of these challenges.
Okay.
But one of the myths, which they're now busting, is that it leads to breast cancer. And now that's not true. And
Wow.
so the medical community, to a large extent, has not really focused on everything that they need to the point where they're going to start sharing it. I just saw this morning that the Senate is passing a bill that's focusing on women's health as a new act that's coming into play. So it's got to work its way all through the different channels
Yeah.
before it's finally approved. But it's so great to see that the government is now making women's health
A
a
priority.
priority.
Yes, it steps in the right direction, which is great.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right.
What is what is the conversation women are not having about their health and worth, but absolutely need to start talking about?
Just owning your health. Just owning your health. Really, just owning it. And then knowing, going back to our worthy comment, you have the right to be selfish. You have the right to make yourself a AAA1 priority. I have a good friend who's always focused on her health and her family's health. And she had a heart incident and she was really upset because I've looked after myself. I regular blah, 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 blah. So anyway, she's okay, but she was really upset that this happened and that her doctor hadn't given her meds in anticipation of possibly something happening.
Right.
So I go to my doctor, and they always do blood work.
Mhm.
He is recommending the meds that she wished her doctor had.
Wow.
And he's saying, Nancy, you're borderline.
Right.
I don't think this is serious.
Mhm.
But on the other hand, because I have heart disease in my family,
Mhm.
and I said, okay, I was cautious because I know that once you get on meds, you're not coming off them.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, if I didn't go forward,
Mhm.
could we just leave this for another year
Mhm.
and do blood work then? And obviously, if I have a heart incident in the meantime, that's my fault, not yours. And he said, okay, fine. He was
Mhm.
respectful.
Mhm.
So, of course, the year goes by. I went back a couple of months ago, fully expecting a year later you're going to be on meds.
Mhm.
And he said, Nancy, I don't know what you're doing, but you're healthier than you were last year and
Keep
healthier
doing
than
it.
you were 5 years ago. So I could still have a health incident that won't be his fault. Own your health. This is your trusted advisor. And you would be upset if that person didn't recommend what they're recommending,
Right.
like my friend was.
Mhm.
But given that he has, pay attention to the pros and cons.
Yeah, for sure. What is one belief you hold about women, worth, or wellness that you know will piss some people off, but it's your truth anyway?
Be selfish. Be selfish. Be selfish. I would say be respectfully selfish.
Mhm. Okay.
Really be respectfully selfish. And if I were talking to any women or any group of women, I would definitely make that statement and say, you do it. For example, now the big opportunity is stewarding all this wealth.
Yeah.
If you're in a partnership situation, maybe in the past you haven't taken the lead,
Mhm.
but maybe now you've got more wealth to steward than you had previously. And maybe you're still going to be under the same jurisdiction as you have been up until now. Maybe you shouldn't be.
Mhm.
Maybe you've got some different ideas about where you want to direct that wealth. So it's up to you to bring that forward and have that conversation and make that statement. And I guess be selfish, respectfully selfish,
Respectfully selfish
respectfully
and
selfish,
respectfully aggressive.
and respectfully aggressive. With all due respect,
Yes.
I think you're, yes.
What have the women in your community reflected back to you that changed the way that you see your own worth, Nancy?
I get positive feedback, but again, I discount it. When I get it, I discount it, which I shouldn't.
Mhm.
Because way back when I was entertaining my mother-in-law and her friend who had come to Toronto for an Eastern Star conference.
Mhm.
And so they came for dinner, and her friend said, Nancy, this is so lovely. You've gone out of your way, and it's such a treasure or such a treat. And I said, oh, it's nothing, whatever. She stopped, she grabbed my arm.
Mhm.
Her name was Lillian. I think of her when this happens. She said, Nancy, when someone is trying to give you a compliment, you say, thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that. But it's easy to discount.
It
It's, oh
is.
no, mine. So you always have to stop and say, thank you so much. No, I hadn't seen come from away,
Mhm.
and they were leaving. So lined up the whole pack of people in front of the Royal Alex.
Mhm.
Out of the blue, this woman says, oh my goodness, there's Nancy. So I look over and it's a former client.
Mhm.
And she's saying, we talk about you all the time. Oh,
All good, right? All good.
oh boy. Anyway, what she said was, you were so great in advising us because as a wealth advisor, it isn't just what's under your jurisdiction.
Mhm.
It's what they also want to do.
Mhm.
And they wanted to get into the rental property
Right.
management system. And so she said, we invested in 2 or 3 properties. I think we're now in 4. And she said, we would never have done that if you hadn't encouraged us to do so and made it possible to do. And so we thank you every day. I said, that's wonderful news. I wasn't sure what you were going to say, but thank you so much.
There you go. That's the correct response. When you discount someone giving you a compliment, you're discounting that person.
Correct. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So take it and appreciate it and
Yes, be grateful for it.
be very grateful.
Yeah. When you imagine a woman reclaiming her worth, what does she rise into that the world never prepared her for?
A whole level of confidence
Mm.
that she didn't know, that she never knew was in her.
Mhm.
And you can see the difference. One of my clients, I would describe to them what the wealth plan is. What are all the different things that are in there? And we've anticipated a critical illness or whatever. And a couple of times you got to go around to make sure people truly understand. But once people understand that they've got everything in order, it's a whole different joie de vivre that they present.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they do, they get feedback to that. And people will say, you look different. You look like there's something going on.
You're glowing.
And it's exactly because you've taken the responsibility of owning your good health and your whole wealth plan.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes you feel like $1 million. That's my logo.
Yeah.
With your arms up in the air, standing on a hill, like you go. And actually, on that note, Arlene Dickinson was a guest speaker at the Ottawa Women's Summit a couple of months ago. And she said to all of the women there, put your arms up, ladies. And they kind of went,
yeah.
She said, put your arms up. And that's my logo. Like when you feel like you've got it together, you just feel like you're on top of the world, literally.
Standing on the mountaintop. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. What breaks your heart the most about what women believe about themselves?
That they don't value that they don't take the time to realize how unique and valuable they truly are. I can't think of very many people, very many women who I know who are currently at that. Sometimes you're talking to women who've gotten into a difficult situation, but at least they're talking about the difficulty and the challenges and their frustrations. And then the conversation moves forward to, okay, what are we going to do now? And recently, within the last year, we had an experience where this young girl was really disappointed because she was promised a big job. And sure enough, didn't they hire somebody to come in over her? So now she's reporting to the person in the role that she expected to have. She was just so upset. Anyway, she quit. There was no way she could keep on going. And of course, now she's looking for new opportunities. Certainly, has she not landed the absolute perfect opportunity? Absolute, couldn't be better.
Amazing.
And the first was a not-for-profit. Now she's with an organization. She's a single mom with an organization that has benefits, bonus, and a pension plan.
Amazing.
Taken all of that financial pressure away from her. And she's absolutely in a sweet spot role where she can bring her best forward. So I think the key is if you're not happy, do something about it. Don't accept it. Don't live your reality by putting up with something that isn't right. And maybe talk to somebody who you feel somebody who you respect, who will take your situation into confidence and be a coach, be a champion for you.
And also remember that you are the only one that can do anything about it. And you always have a choice.
Correct.
No one is no one's coming to save you.
No.
You have to be your own superhero.
You do.
For sure.
You do.
Why do you think so many women wait until they're in the dark or at the bottom to finally choose themselves?
Because they don't want to be seen as being selfish.
There's
but more and more, I know, but more and more young women are paying attention. They know they need to be selfish. And they know that their future is probably not going to be the same as their parents or other older women that they know of. So they know to a large extent, they got to start driving the bus sooner rather than later. And if I'm going to do that, then what do I need to do?
Yeah.
But often they focus on money. They don't necessarily focus on their health. When in fact, being young and healthy is your starting point. What do I need to do in order to continue to be healthy? And then you build it out from there.
Yeah. What does a woman look like, in your opinion, when she finally stops negotiating her worth?
Just on top of the world.
Like your logo.
Because she's accepted her reality and she's enjoying being in that sweet spot, whatever it may be. We often look at others and wish we had that, or we wish we had this, or whatever is really because stop. Like, don't do that.
Tinnitus is the thief of joy.
Yeah, don't do it.
Stop comparing yourself.
Don't.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Just stop. In a world. Sorry?
No, I was just thinking, my sister was the head of a hospital women's association. And of course, she would often bring in guest speakers. And what made me think how she behaved, because sometimes those guest speakers, they're given 5 minutes and they want to take 15. So she said, you've got 5 minutes, and she's got a water pistol on the stand.
Don't go over your 5 minutes or you're getting squirt.
No, exactly. So stop it.
Yeah.
Ah,
In a world that's obsessed with efficiency, quick fix, the magic bullet, all of these things, what does deep, sustainable, soul aligned wellness actually look like to you?
it's complex. It is
Hmm.
complex. You got to deal with a lot of things, a lot of aspects of life
Hmm.
come into play in order to get to that sweet spot. And the chances are pretty good that they don't all align at the same time.
Hmm.
But as long as you've got enough of them on the plus side versus the negative side, then you're moving in the right direction
Okay.
because you're dealing with so many different things all the time. And of course, we're all told not to listen to the news. Who can avoid the news? Because everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
And we've all got a role to play in whatever the news is,
Mm.
especially now with Canada, with the challenges that we have.
Mhm.
Wellness is when you've kind of got a grasp on everything, realizing that some things may not be totally aligned with where you would ideally like them to be.
Yeah. Love it. When the world looks back on your work, Nancy, decades from now, what do you hope they say you changed for women forever?
To be courageous. I love to tell women to step up and step out, like
Mhm.
really. And that's young women just getting started. Actually, this was an article that I found the other day in all my things. It's
Mhm.
Elizabeth Renzetti, and I can't believe it's as old as it is. It's 2018. Advice for young women: be large. So it's back to ownership. Like you go into a room and own the room, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you start the Congo line, but certainly you can lean into the situation to have some positive
Mhm.
conversations.
Okay. If every woman listening could hear one sentence from the deepest, most unapologetic, awakened part of you, what would that sentence be?
To live your life and love your life. Know your life is a unique opportunity and own it. Live it
Mm,
and love it and be very proud of yourself doing whatever you're doing.
beautiful. What does freedom mean to you at the very deepest level, beyond money, status, or recognition, Nancy?
Freedom. Good question. I guess to do whatever you want within your means. Obviously, if you don't have lots of money, you can't go into the Ferrari showroom unless you're borderline insane. I think it's just knowing what you want and working towards getting what you want that's
Mhm.
going to give you that ultimate level of self fulfillment.
What does success mean to you? How do you define success?
Give more than you take.
I love that. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
Positivity.
Positivity. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3 word answer type thing. Okay. What is your favorite place on earth?
Probably Georgian Bay. Although I live in the
Mhm.
county is fabulous. I'll say the county.
Okay. What is one of your secret or hidden talents?
Playing the piano.
If,
I can play you some Christmas carols now.
excellent. I love that. Tis the season.
'Tis the season, exactly.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
To be positive. Like, really, don't be negative. Be positive to the very, very best of your ability.
What is one of your guilty pleasures?
Too much wine or gin and tonic. I love gin and tonic. Gin and tonic. Yep. And I'm a Rotarian and they have a gin club. I'm thinking about joining that.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, G&T is delicious. A lime or lemon, I don't care.
What is one word that sums up your mindset?
Positive.
One book that changed your life?
I liked Peter Buffett's Live Your Life and Love Your Life.
Okay.
No, Life is What You Make It. I'm sorry. Life is What You Make It. That's a great book.
Okay. What
Really, his life is pretty interesting.
what is one word that sums up the woman you are becoming?
Aggressive.
Touche. I love that. Yes. Own it. And Nancy, you're owning it right here, right now. I love it. That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created a bonus question that I did not send you ahead of time. How do you define love? Both the kind you give and the kind you receive.
How do you define love? Probably through appreciation. Giving more than you take means you go out of your way to do things for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I love firing off. I have a great friend on Salt Spring Island.
Mm-hmm.
She is such a gem. And she loves sending me beautiful art cards from Salt Spring.
Mm-hmm.
She even sent me a basket, a beautiful basket to hold them all in.
Nice.
And I love firing them off in the mail. And so I think just extending yourself. I love humor. We've had a great time with some
Mm-hmm.
good laughs.
Yes.
I think that's a great way to show love is lighten it up. Don't take it all so seriously. You have to be a serious person, but life doesn't have to be serious all the time, not by
No,
any
we're
means.
here for a short time, so have fun. That's the key, is having fun. Don't be so damn serious all the time. Laugh a
Exactly.
little.
And right. And I've always said there are two kinds of people, or there are two qualities in any person that I will spend time with. And if they don't have these two qualities, I'm out of here. One is generosity,
Mhm,
and that's not financial only, just a generous spirit.
mhm.
And the other is a sense of humor. If you've ever spent time with a humorless person, that is painful.
Yes, for
That is
sure,
really painful.
for sure.
And those two combined make a huge difference in
They
interactions.
make a beautiful human.
Yes, they do. That they do.
Nancy, if you were to introduce yourself to me without mentioning your occupation, where you're from, your ethnicity, your nationality, your religion, all of these day-to-day markers that we use, how would you introduce yourself to me?
And again, I don't know if Martin Buckland,
Mm-mm.
he coaches people in fabulous. He goes to business schools in
Okay.
London and Queens and whatever
Mhm,
to teach people how to the elevator pitch.
mhm,
And so after I left Procter and Gamble and after my political foray, I went to him
mhm,
for a fabulous resume, even though I could put one together.
mhm,
He said, "Okay, Nancy, it's $750." I thought, "Oh my goodness, I think I could do this." Then I thought, "No, go for it." So he said, "We'll meet a week from now.
mhm.
And when we meet a week from now, I want you to tell me in one word who you are."
Wow.
$750 for one word. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. So, and was recruiting me to do, you are a connector and an influencer. So that's what I would say to you.
Mm,
I say a connector and an influencer. And then you would probably say, tell me how that's working for you. What are you doing that has you doing
mhm.
what you think you are?
Yeah,
And then I'd share a couple of examples.
love it.
And often people refer, and it's interesting, as my husband's career was in the film industry.
Mhm.
One of his good friends in LA, way back when, said, Nancy, you would have been a fabulous agent. So sometimes people say, I was talking to your agent the other day. And really going through that process with Mark, I've said to him often, you should have put a trademark on that because I'm yapping about it all the time. And it is so perfect because it is absolutely me.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that story.
You're welcome.
If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
I think whatever. And
Mhm.
I think that would be a perfect question. It's okay, what's next? What's on the agenda?
Okay, go ahead.
And we've wrestled with this with Women Worth and Wellness. And so this podcasting has given me new ideas about what's next.
Mhm,
But where I was at and where I'm still at is women's age of integrity. And to me, and I've gone to different people and they said, Nancy, that doesn't do it for me. But what it what I'm trying to get at is there are women, we often celebrate women who have come before us,
mhm,
who have done amazing things.
mhm.
And my feeling is right in our midst right now are women who can do amazing things for our future. Let's
Right.
be future folks. The famous five were the ones that had women declared as persons
Mhm,
in 1929. So we've got the 100th anniversary coming up in 2029.
mhm.
But who were those five women? And what did they see that had them driving with their age of integrity to make the world a better place by getting women defined as persons so that they could vote?
Mm,
So I think in our midst right now, there are issues that need to be addressed
yeah.
that can be addressed by women
Mhm.
who, of course, can make the world a better place by doing so. So it's how do you put that all together to try to get women to step out and step up and be courageous and make that difference that the world desperately needs?
For sure. It is needed, absolutely. And I think we are
Mhm.
seeing a shift. I think it's
We are.
starting, the wheels are turning. We just need to continue on that path and give
We do,
women the platform and the opportunities.
and champion them when
Yes.
they do carve out new territory.
Yes.
One in particular recently is Catherine McKenna.
Mhm,
She's been really working on the environment all the way along. And of course, she's come through a lot of challenging times. And she's written a book. I haven't read the book. I
mhm.
want to get the book. She's really onto something. So give her an updraft and help her.
Yeah,
Help her.
for sure, for sure. Lean in.
Exactly.
If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
Melinda French Gates.
Okay.
I think she's come through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's really onto a lot, and I know she's doing a lot. Mackenzie Scott as well, but Melinda is much more public than Mackenzie is.
Mm-hmm.
Mackenzie is, she's really giving a lot. And actually, apparently, Elon Musk told her to stop giving so much money to these women's organizations, at which point she doubled her.
Good for her.
No, Melinda French Gates, I think, is terrific. So
Yeah.
I would love to have a conversation with her.
Okay. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
I would not be more aggressive, because a young person who's aggressive is really annoying. I would just be more, I would be more courageous.
Okay.
I would be more courageous.
Lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your corner of the world, your tribe, your people, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
Keep smiling and keep your lipstick on. That's Diane Keaton.
There you go. Beautiful. Love it.
Yes.
Love it. Nancy, thank you so much for taking and making the time today for this incredibly beautiful, insightful, thoughtful conversation. I've enjoyed every minute speaking with you. I'm honored to have had the opportunity to sit down and share in your story and your journey and your beautiful insights and wisdom. I am grateful to have you as a member of the Empowerography community and to call you a friend. Thank you so much for today.
You're welcome, Brad. That was a lovely compliment that I will respectfully and aggressively accept. Thank you so much. No, my pleasure. That was great fun. It was a sparkly chat like my top.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Once again, my name is Brad Welsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Nancy Griffin. She is a connector, an influencer, and the CEO and founder of Women, Worth, and Wellness. Thank you so much, Nancy. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thanks, Brad. You too.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.